Hello guys and welcome back to the Import Export Hub channel, where 2 times a week I'm trying to upload import export related topics. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bogdan. I'm the host of this channel, and as always, before I start the weekly newsreel, the quiz question of the week. So prepare yourselves. Who was the largest importer of fresh grapes in the world in 2020 in terms of value? And the options here are the United States, China, or the United Kingdom. And the correct answer is the United States, with more than $1.8 billion worth of imports. And with this new information added to your short-term memory, I'm asking you for a favor. Just hit the like and the subscribe buttons in order to please, you know what, YouTube's algorithm, and maybe help spread the content of this channel to other import-export enthusiasts out there on YouTube. And without further ado, let's start this weekly newsreel with the Freightos index, which currently we see here is at $10,323, which is, I think, more or less 3% up to the previous week index. In terms of big movers, we have China to North America West Coast index up 5% compared to the previous week. And we have 10% down for the index connecting North America East Coast to North Europe. For the Trans-Pacific Index, we have China to North America West Coast at $18,425, while the index connecting China to North America East Coast is at $20,057. And we see here that basically for both indexes the freights are 5% up compared to the previous week. Now for the crossways indexes, we have China to North Europe at $13,889, while the index connecting China to the Mediterranean is at $12,902. And a personal point of view, guys, here I'm afraid that once we reach the vertex of the peak season, and of course considering all the current supply chain disruptions that are taking place in the world, I'm inclined to believe that the freight rates unfortunately won't stop here. And I really wish that my prediction is wrong, of course, but we will see in the weeks to come if I'm wrong or not. And with these soaring freight rates, I start my first news with one coming from NBC News, in which we find out that other big retailers in the United States are starting to charter private vessels in order to meet the demand and, of course, have their shelves full for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I don't know if you remember, but a couple of weeks ago, the first big US retailer to announce this move was Home Depot, and now we see that Walmart and Ikea are also very much considering chartering vessels and even buying their own shipping containers, as in the case with Ikea, in order to mitigate the supply chain disruptions. What's that saying? Desperate times need desperate measures. And remember, we're talking about Walmart, whose bargaining power, if you ask me, in relation with the shipping companies is far, far higher, even unimaginable compared with, I don't know, small and medium importers in the United States. And yes, they are paying maybe, I don't know, 3 times more than they did last year, but not 15 or 20 times more as the small and medium importers are paying right now in the United States. Anyways, from my point of view, this is a good thing, as I suspect that the slot pressure, if you want, will somehow ease, and the freight rates will begin to stabilize a little bit. I hope I'm not daydreaming, but if I were a liner executive, this would be a strong signal alerting me that really have to reconsider some of my long-run strategy and not just focus on short-term gains. And speaking of shipping lines, my next two news cover the issue of collusion and cartelization among the container carriers. Philippine and the India competition commissions are investigating right now the possible fixing and colluding amid surging freight costs. And as you probably know, these two countries are adding up to another list of countries conducting similar investigations, and we have among them countries like China, which I highly doubt that they will find out something formally, considering China's interests in Cosco Shipping line. We have Vietnam, we have Taiwan, we have Korea, and of course, let's not forget the Federal Maritime Commission investigation in the United States. Now, I won't get my hopes too high about these investigations, but my personal opinion is that for sure this media exposure and government scrutiny is not a good thing for the shipping companies. How will this affect them in the long run? I can only speculate, but I think that the shipping industry will be a lot more scrutinized by the national and international organizations and bodies. And you could ask yourselves, is this a good thing for the consumer? My answer is that, yeah, probably is. But then again, another question may arise from the shipping company's point of view. Is this a good thing for the shipping companies? And my guess is that this is the last thing they want right now, if you ask me. Anyways, moving on to my next news, and we see that Deutsche Post DHL Group signed an agreement to acquire Hillebrand Group for around 1.5 billion euros, which is, I don't know, more or less $1.8 billion. Hillebrand, for your information, is a global service provider specialized in ocean freight forwarding, transport and logistics of beverages, and of course non-hazardous bulk liquids. Still, the acquisition is subject to merger control clearance in certain jurisdictions, and I think we have the European and the United States, if I'm not mistaken. So basically the idea is that we have here another big acquisition on the freight forwarding market, and if you remember, we had DSV Panalpina and Agility earlier this year, and now we have this. And if you ask me, if you want to prepare for the times ahead, especially after considering the huge profits of the shipping companies and considering their vertical integration that took place in the last couple of years, I think that the only option for you as a freight forwarder in order to survive in the future is to get bigger and stronger, especially through niche services like, I don't know, container liquid, bulk transport, project cargo, or, as in the case with Hillebrand, providing highly specialized transport and logistics services. Now, moving on to my last news for week 33, I have this one concerning the top 5 performing importing fruits in China. And this is just for those of you working in this sector and maybe wondering if China is a good market for your products. So the idea is that we have on the first place fresh durians, followed by fresh cherries, which were mostly imported from Chile. Bananas on the third place, with the Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Ecuador being the main exporters towards China. On the fourth place, we have fresh table grapes, mostly imported from Chile, but also from Australia, Peru, or South Africa. And finally, on the fifth place, we have long guns with almost 60% increase year on year in relative terms, bringing the total imported value to $320 million. And guys, with all these fruit imports statistics, I'm moving on to the news for covering week 34, and I will begin with one which concerns Hyundai Merchant Marine Shipping Company, and it seems that more than half of HMM's 600 seafarers have quit following management refusal to meet pay demands. According to unions officials, the Swiss-Italian carrier MSC was offering to employ all its members, and so far 317 HMM seafarers have tendered their resignation. Frankly, from my point of view, and considering the huge profits that the carriers had in the last year, it seems highly unfair that this is happening. After all, we have to remember that the seafarers were the ones keeping the ships going, the products going, and not the armchair executives. As for MSC move in offering to employ them, here I have two comments. First of all, they are not on the same alliance with HMM, as I am sure that the same alliance members have some strict rules concerning each other seafarers, so there is no big grudge here. My second comment is that this is perfectly in time with MSC shopping spree that took place in the last couple of months, because those 100 and plus second-hand vessels acquired by MSC have to be manned. So perfect timing for MSC. From my point of view, one lesson has to be learned from here, and the idea is that you have to spread the wealth with the people that helped you achieve this wealth. If you fail to do so, then I think that you have the recipe to get into trouble on the long run, and what we see here with Hyundai Merchant Marine is such an example. Anyways, let's not cry for HMM management, and let me move on to my next news, which concerns Vietnam's imports and exports. But I'll focus on Vietnam's exports, as it emerged as a major electronics exporter, overtaking traditional exports like textiles, coffee, or rice. Again, the footwear industry is also a major driver for Vietnam exports. As I said it in a previous video, if you remember, the garment and textile industries are again very important sectors for Vietnam's economy, and it seems that with the help of the comprehensive and progressive agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, the furniture sector is beginning to take off as well, according to this article. Now, in terms of the biggest export destinations, here I will mention only the top three ones, which are the United States, followed by China, and on the third place we have the European Union. And I don't know, maybe you're wondering why I am covering this news. And well, the idea is, guys, that this is a short reminder that in terms of manufacturing capabilities and workforce and outsourcing, China is not the only country to source from. For some sectors, I've said it in one of my previous videos, China is no longer competitive, and other emerging countries begin to challenge China's supremacy in the region. Again, not for all the products, of course, but for some of them, China is losing its competitive advantage, and we see here that Vietnam is one such example, taking advantage of China's losing competitive advantage. Now, moving on to my next news, I have one concerning the trade agreement between Tunisia and Turkey, and it seems that Tunisia wants to review the bilateral trade agreement by amending it or even canceling it in order to cut the widening trade deficit, which in relation with Turkey is the third largest one, amounting to $900 million, according to this article, after the trade deficit with China and Italy. And frankly, I don't have much to comment here about this fact other than underlining that when you sign a trade agreement, a bilateral trade agreement, you are not forced to do it. Theoretically, when deciding to sign such an agreement, you should have some strategies in place, and from my point of view, it seems that unfortunately Tunisia didn't have such a strategy, or I don't know, it wasn't a fine-tuned strategy, and now it wants out. My guess is that this is an example of how poor institutions and poor management create instability and breeds economic problems, as in the case with the current situation, economic situation in Tunisia right now. And I will stop here with the comments. And again, it's just my personal opinion, and I think I can move on to my last news concerning the port of Piraeus in Greece, which is controlled by Cosco, if you didn't know, as it seems that Cosco increased its stakes in the port from 51% to 67%, according to SeaTradeMaritime.com. I don't know if you agree with me on what I am about to say. I am not a shipping expert, I've said it before, but I still rely on my common sense here. And the idea is that the shipping industry, at least the container shipping industry, especially the big carriers, are establishing strongholds in different parts of the world, in different ports of the world. And I don't know, I can give you some examples like MSC has a stronghold in Antwerp, or Hapag in Hamburg, or Bremenhaven, I really don't know, and the list goes on. The idea is that what Costco is doing here is just that. It's trying to establish a stronghold, and why not a gateway, a hub towards Europe and North Africa. Does the European Union like this? My guess is that they really don't like it. Unfortunately, I don't think they can do much about it. And if you ask me, this is also a geopolitical move done by China in order to, I don't know, flex its muscles. It's like a PR move, if you want. Just a reminder to show to the entire world, to the international scene, that China is at the big boys table. Anyways, I'm not going to overanalyze this issue. I am sure that on the long run, they will somehow increase Piraeus port importance, especially considering the rising importance and strategic importance of the Belt and Road Initiative. And guys, with this being said, I wrap up this newsreel by again kindly asking you to hit the like and the subscribe buttons if you slightly found this video interesting. And as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.